The origins of philosophy are found in classical Greece. The term philosophy itself is of Greek derivation, from the Greek word phileo, which meant love, and the word sophos, which meant wisdom. In other words, a philosopher is someone who loves wisdom, and attaining wisdom is the ancient goal of philosophy. While the source of wisdom might be understood in biblical culture to be understanding the will of God, the source of wisdom in Greek culture was understanding yourself. Instead of knowing what God thought, it was to know what you thought. That is why two of Socrates' most famous axioms were to know yourself and that the unexamined life is not worth living. Essentially, in philosophy, the goal is to examine what you think and why you think it. Does what you think make sense? Where does it come from? Is it contradictory with other thoughts? Do you even know what you think? How much have you thought about things, or have you simply blindly accepted what others said without giving it much thought? Thinking is one of the primary gifts provided by your brain, and yet a lot of people never think in a systematic and in-depth manner. In fact, people often discourage you from thinking and tell you it's a waste of time, or to simply accept what you're told. For example, let's think for a minute about who you are. What are you at your core, at your most basic self? I expect many of you believe that, among other things, you have a soul, a spirit, that will survive death and live forever. You are an eternal being in some fashion. Philosophically, the first task is to define our terms. What do we mean by the word soul or spirit? What is such a thing? What is it made of? How do we come to have one? Is it identifiable with your personality? A religion like Hinduism believes your spirit is not identifiable with you. It is a spark of cosmic energy that eventually returns to its source, and you, as the vehicle for the spirit, will cease to exist at death. Whereas you may think your spirit somehow is you. Then we also have to define what we mean by eternal. Does eternal mean timeless or forever? That is how modern people tend to understand it. For Plato, however, eternal referred to the world of ideas, which lies behind the physical world. In the New Testament, eternal is sometimes translated as referring to the end of this age and the age to come, rather than timeless. After defining your terminology, the next question, philosophically, is why do you think that is true? For example, why do you think you have a soul that will survive death? After all, as far as we can tell, everything dies and disappears. You've never seen your soul or anyone else's. There's absolutely no proof that souls exist. A common answer would be you think you have a soul because that's what you've been told. Your parents told you. Perhaps they taught you a prayer like, "Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep." Or maybe your pastor told you that souls exist. It's something you learned in church. Of course, the next question is why do you believe your parents or the pastor? They are only people and make mistakes and don't know everything and have no proof. And if we were to ask why your parents or the pastor believes in souls, we'd find that it's because they believed what they were told. We trust the people who told us, and the people who told us believed someone who told them, and so on backwards in a string of believing what we are told for literally thousands of years. And that's all there is to it. Now, as philosophers, we not only ask, what do you believe? Define your terms. And why do you believe it? Explain your rationale. We go on to ask if that is a good reason to believe what you do. Is believing what you are told sufficient reason for accepting something as true? What do you think? After all, we have discovered things we were told and believed that turned out not to be true. In the past, people were told the world was flat, but it's not. Before we invaded Iraq, we were told the Iraqis had weapons of mass destruction, but they didn't. You may have been told Santa Claus was real, and then learned that he isn't. Are souls no more real than Santa? Is it wise to simply believe what you are told? We could even go further and say that if you were born in Thailand and raised as a Buddhist, you wouldn't believe in eternal souls. Theravada Buddhists don't believe anything is eternal, including you, and don't believe souls exist. So, we believe we have souls because we happen to live in a Western culture, in a family that was probably Christian, Jewish, or Muslim, where we were told there are souls, and we believed it, just as our parents believed it, and if we were born someplace else, like Thailand, we wouldn't believe it, just like our parents wouldn't. On the other hand, philosophically, if believing what you are told isn't sufficient reason to accept something as true, what is sufficient? What's a good way to establish the truth? Is it possible to do? How do you define truth? Is there such a thing as incontrovertible proof? Or is it acceptable to believe something is true while admitting you have no good reason to believe it at all? And that's the way philosophy works. We'll apply this process to ideas like the meaning of life, the existence of God, the nature of yourself, the meaning of truth, the meaning of goodness, the meaning of freedom, and the nature of beauty. The goal is to be wiser people when you're done, by knowing more fully what you think and why you think that way.